Good afternoon. We are here in a session for exam. Before I start, I'm going to introduce my colleagues in this webinar. From the right, Ms. Ula Al-Mu'i, English Supervisor, Tartus Directorate, Ms. Abir Al-Hassan, Damascus Countryside Teacher, and from the left side, I have Ms. Faizi Janko, Super Supervisor of English, Damascus Countryside Directorate, and Ms. Huda Ibrahim, a teacher in Damascus Directorate. Yeah. Welcome, dear colleagues, and dear students. We're here to help you in your exam. We're going to explain to you the exam paper and we'll give you advices about the exam. I'm going to start from the right side with Ms. Ula Al-Mu'i. Of course, on the screen we have Ms. Ula, the exam paper. Yes. I want you, please, to tell the students about first the exam paper and the exam book they are going to write on, what they are going to see when they go to the exam. Please.
Okay, so first of all, they need to pay attention to the numbers on the exam book.
So in the exam book, we have numbers, same like
in the exam question paper. Yes. So they have to write the same number just like in the exam book to make sure that it's the exact number.
Yeah.
And the first question, we can start with the first question, which is read the following text, then do the tasks below. Yeah. I think they should.
Just one question, Ms. Ula.
Yes, please.
And I'm going to ask Ms. Faiz so that she can participate with us.
Yes.
What if the student wrote the question, the answer to the question in the number corresponding in the exam book, but later he discovered that he had a mistake?
Okay.
Can he change?
Yes, he can change, and he can put a note that the answer for this question is on page number so and
yes,
so.
And the note is very important.
Yeah, it is very important to have a note.
Yes.
And I would like to make sure and feel all the students feel relaxed that we are looking for every word in the examination paper and we are correcting each word for the benefit of these students.
Yes.
So don't be afraid if they forget anything and they write it in the other.
But it's better to put a hint to the corrector that the answer to this question is in page 4 or here.
Yes. But in any way, there is a space. If they made a mistake, they can rewrite the questions.
If there is a space. If there is space,
Now, continue, Mr. Ula.
Okay. So the first question is, we have a text. And this text can be from the activity book or the student's book.
Thank you. So the first text usually comes either from the activity or the student's
book. Yeah. And they have some questions. I think they should start by reading the questions first so that they put in mind the things they are going to look for in the text. Before reading the text, it's better to read the question and then they can read the text. They have to read the text slowly and pay attention to the details.
Before they start reading the text, you advise them to have a look at the questions.
Exactly. Yes.
So that while reading, they have in mind what they are going to do.
Look for. Yes, exactly. So the first task to be done is answer the following questions.
Yes.
Here we have questions to be answered from the text. They can be clear in the text or they have to understand the meaning of the text, and this way they can answer the questions.
Yes, and just want to remind the students that they can see on the screen one exam. This was done previously in 2015.
Yes.
We put it here as a sample so that we talk about the exam paper.
Yes.
All the exam papers are going to be the same shape, the same form.
Same
so when we do one exam paper, it's the same with others.
The same.
Yeah, please.
Okay. So the first one, answer the following questions. We can do this one, as you've said, as an example they can have. This text is about two capital cities, Damascus and Brasilia. So they have question on this text. Can you read?
So Ms. Ula, I'm going to ask Ms. Faizi to read the first text. Then we do the questions after that.
Okay.
Will you please, Ms. Faizi?
Yeah, of course.
You can use the screen if this is not clear, or you can.
It's clear. It's clear.
Please.
Now, the capital city of a country is very often its greatest city, with the largest population and the most important administrative buildings, government offices, as well as embassies from other countries. Damascus is not different from other capital cities in this respect. It is the seat of government and the economic and cultural center of Syria. With a population of around 5 million people, Damascus is considered the oldest city in the world. It has been continually inhabited for thousands of years. The commercial and administrative center of the city is located in the modern part of the city, outside the ancient walls. Brasilia, the capital city of Brazil, is both similar to and different from Damascus. Like Damascus, it is an administrative center and contains the key political buildings and institutions. However, unlike Damascus, Brasilia is not the major cultural or economic center of Brazil. Brasilia is a very modern city, and because it is so new, planners were able to strictly regulate its layout.
So, before we do the exercise, as students, let's consider ourselves to be students. What can we understand from the text? It's about two capital cities.
Exactly.
Are they both modern or old?
No, they're different in a
They are
way.
different.
Damascus
One
is very old.
and
Yeah.
one modern.
is
So we
modern
need
one.
to understand as students
Yeah,
what we have in the text before we go to the questions.
Yeah.
So, and we have government offices, we have buildings
Embassies,
for the
administrative
embassies. Yes.
economic and
Now,
cultural.
Miss Abir, please read the first question.
Yes. Now, what buildings are characteristics of capital cities?
Well, so what buildings are characteristic of capital cities? Of course, the answer is in the paper.
Yeah.
Miss Huda, will you please read the answer to the students?
Yes. The most important administrative buildings, government offices, as well as embassies from other countries.
Yes. Thank you so much. Well, Miss Faize, question number 2.
Now, why is Damascus considered the oldest city in the world?
Yes, in the text, there was something mentioned that tells us about Damascus and that it is the oldest. How can we know? Miss Saoula, please.
Okay, well, because we have why, we have to start the answer with because.
Good.
Because, yes.
Good.
Because it's in the second paragraph, because it has been continually inhabited for thousands of years.
So it
that's
is written.
why.
Yes. In the text, if the student writes the same like in the text, is it okay?
It's okay, but we
Yeah.
prefer if they try to write full answer.
Yeah, but the full answer
Yeah,
is
should be.
always needed. We
needed,
need to
okay.
write the full answer.
Exactly.
Yes. Anything to add before we move to the following question?
No, just this one, because it's not really the same question, not the same answer, but they need to understand that because it has been inhabited for thousands of years, it is the oldest city.
So the
in the
word
world.
thousand, inhabited continually for thousands of years,
It
shows
indicates,
us
exactly.
that
Yes,
it is.
This is why it's called reading comprehension.
Yes.
So they
Yes.
need to understand.
So it is considered to be the oldest city in the world because it has been continually inhabited for thousands of years. Question number 3, Ms. Huda, please read it.
What are the similarities between Damascus and Brasilia?
Now, we noticed in the text that we have similarities and differences. So, does the student need to write everything?
No,
The
of course
similarities?
not.
No, of course
No.
not. Only the similarities. In this exercise, we need the similarities. Now, what are the similarities between Damascus and Brasilia?
Yeah.
Ms. Faizi?
It is like Damascus. It is an administrative center and contains the key political buildings and institutions.
Thank
They are
you.
similar in this way.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So we can look for hints, like it's like
Yeah.
Damascus,
Yes.
so it means
Yeah.
similarities.
When
Or
we
we
have
can
like
say
Damascus,
both
it
cities
is
Similarities.
similarities, and
unlike
unlike,
it's differences.
differences.
We can have different question. What are the differences?
Yes.
And this way we can
Yeah.
look for unlike
Unlike,
Damascus.
yeah.
It's-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Ala. We move to the following question, which is about finding words.
Finding words.
Are the words in the first text underlined?
No, and they have to pay attention to that. In the first text, they are not underlined, but in the second text, they are going to be underlined.
And we repeat that the first text usually comes from the
Students
student
or
activity books. Miss Abir, please read number 4.
Yeah. Number 4, the offices of a representative of a foreign country.
So we want to know a word which means the offices of the representative of foreign country. Miss Saula?
Yes, so it's it's embassies.
Embassies.
Because they represent different countries, foreign countries.
And if the student writes embassy, singular, or embassies, it means that he understands it's okay. Good. And Miss Huda, the second word?
Right. Placed or situated. They have to find a word which is located.
Located.
Yeah.
So the exact word is located. And the first question is allotted 18 marks.
Yes.
The second, for the finding words, we have 10 marks. Each mark is 5. And I want just to remind the students that we are doing the scientific exam. We start with this, not because the scientific section is better than literature. No, it was randomly chosen. Just we want to explain something, so we chose this. So we have 2 words to find in the scientific exam paper, but with the literacy section we have 3 words. 3 words. Well, Miss Faizi, will you please read the rubric of...
Now we are going to rewrite these sentences and we are going to correct.
Yes.
Okay? I advise my students to write the whole correction. The sentence, complete sentence. Not only the correction.
I'm going to move it from the screen so that we see it. So, number 6. The commercial and administrative center of Damascus is inside the walls of the old
So I advised the student to correct and write the commercial and administrative center of Damascus is outside the walls of the old city so that he can get the whole mark allotted to this.
So the mistake here is
inside.
It should be
outside.
So they shouldn't write, just write, sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
So they can't just write the inside turns to be outside. They should rewrite because the question says so.
Rewrite. So some students, please, Mr. Majid, can I? Some students only write the correction. Okay, and by doing this, they cannot get the whole mark. Okay, the full mark.
And they don't know why. They don't know why they lost marks.
Okay, but it is written rewrite. So they didn't understand the rubric. Okay. So.
Now, is it the only option to correct just to change inside to outside? What if the student wrote the commercial and administrative center of Damascus is in the modern part of the city? Is it the
same idea?
Yes, of course.
So when it is logical and gives the same meaning, the question is okay, not necessarily the same as. But the student, as Ms. Fazi said, the correction only is not enough. Some marks will be deducted. The student needs to write the full correction. Ms. Huda, just read number 7, please.
Yes. Both Damascus and Brasilia are the major cultural centers of their countries.
And this is wrong.
Yeah, this is wrong.
This is wrong.
Maybe
who can tell us the correction, Ms. Abir, please?
Not both of them are the major countries or cultural centers. Only Damascus.
Only Damascus. Only Damascus is.
Only Damascus is the major cultural center of its country.
So if the student writes only Damascus is the major center is accepted. If
he
writes
Damascus is
unlike Damascus. Brasilia is not a major culture.
So we have possibilities. When the answer is logical, it is accepted. Now let's move to the second text, and the second text usually comes
from the supplementary book,
the supplementary book, scientific or literary section, and literary from the literary section. Ms. Ula, please read the text, the second text, and then we can discuss it.
Of course. Common metals such as iron and aluminium can be melted down and reused. Recycling metal saves money and causes less pollution than processing new metal. Recycling metals also helps to conserve these non-renewable resources. Recycling glass is easy and inexpensive. Glass pieces can be melted down over and over again to make new glass containers. The recycled pieces melt at a lower temperature than the raw materials. Therefore, less energy is required. Recycling glass also reduces the environmental damage caused by mining the raw materials that are used to make glass. Paper mills turn wood into thick liquid called pulp. Pulp is spread out and dried to produce paper. Pulp can also be made from used paper, such as old newspaper. Most paper products can only be recycled a few times. Recycled paper is not as smooth as, or as strong as paper made from wood pulp. Each time paper is recycled, the new paper is rougher, weaker, and darker.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now we understand as students the text. Of course, as we advised in the first text, the student needs to read the questions if he likes. It is not obligatory issue, just an advice so that when he reads to see what is wanted. And in the second section, Ms. Huda, we don't have questions, we have to choose multiple choice.
Yes.
A or B or C. Please read number 8, Ms. Huda.
To produce high quality paper, we use pulp made from, we have a choice number 1, newspaper, wood, B, C, recycled materials. Of course, the answer is B, wood.
Wood, because it is mentioned, the student needs to notice that we need high quality paper.
Yeah.
Because as we read in the text, when we recycle it, it is rougher,
weaker,
and
darker.
And darker. So the high quality, of course, is not from recycled materials and not from used paper. It is wood, and it is clear in it. Thank you. Ms. Abir, read number 9.
Processing new metal, and we have here then recycling it. Here we have 3 choices. A, causes more pollution, needs a lower temperature, and C, costs less money.
Yes,
and the correct answer is A, causes more pollution.
Yes, because of course, when we are going to produce, as it is written in the text, it needs more temperature, not lower. It's higher temperature, so B is wrong. Costs less money, of course, is not correct, so the option is causes more pollution. Thank you. We come to Ms. Faize.
Okay.
We have questions 10 and 11. It's about finding words, and in this text,
they are underlined.
So the
unlike
words
the first
are
paragraph, okay, the words are underlined, and the student is going to read the definition.
And does he have only 2 underlined, like in the question?
No, we have 3 underlined words.
The student needs to choose 2 of the 3
and
underlined.
Here they are 4.
Yes, in the letter we have 4, and he's going to choose 3. Yes, thank you, Ms. Agri. Yes.
Okay. So we have number 10. It is natural, not changed by human.
Yes, number 10. Natural, not changed by human. We have the words conserve, we have melted, and we have raw.
Okay, and
so
it is raw.
It is raw.
It is raw, yeah.
It is raw. Miss Saula, please read number
11. Became a liquid by heating. Became a liquid. I believe this word can tell us what is the right word. It's melted. Melted, because conserve is not in the past simple, so they might think this way.
Will you remind us about the distribution of marks? The first question is allotted
12 marks.
And so the second for the finding words.
Okay, the second one again 12 marks, and the third one is 12 marks.
10 and 11.
This is scientific, sorry.
It is scientific. So yes, the letter is different.
Yeah.
We have 12 for finding words, underlined words, but it is 10 in the first text.
Yeah.
But then here we don't have correction in the following question. It is completion. So the student needs to complete the sentence from the text.
And again, they have to put in mind that they are not the same exact words.
Yes.
They need to understand.
If they can complete with any logical and accepted answer, it is okay.
And does one word complete? Is it enough to write just one word as completion?
No,
Yeah, we
No,
need
I
to
don't
write
think so.
more than one.
a clause,
Yeah.
subject
Clause.
and a verb.
Yeah.
Yes.
So recycling glass requires,
Less energy.
Miss
Yes.
Huda,
Yeah.
Paragraph
requires
2.
less energy.
Energy, yeah.
Recycling glass requires less energy.
Energy.
Miss Faize, number 13.
Now, after recycling paper many times, it becomes rougher, weaker, and
And
darker.
Darker, yes. And it is clear in the text when you recycle paper, it is rougher, weaker, and
darker.
The last
darker.
line.
Yes.
Thank you. So, this is the first exam paper.
Page.
It's very easy, very simple,
Obvious.
But
and,
need attention.
Yes.
Yeah.
Needs attention.
and the students, if the students prepare the vocabulary very well, they can do the first page very easily.
Exactly.
Now we move to the second exam paper, which is starting with missing words.
Yeah.
And this exercise usually comes from the students or activity
Activity
book. Usually, just I want to clarify something. The word missing is functional.
Yeah.
I mean either preposition
Yeah.
or relative pronoun
Articles.
or an article
Yeah.
or auxiliary verb. So it's not a main verb, it's not a noun.
Yeah, of course.
Preposition, article, pronoun, relative pronoun, or an auxiliary. Well, Ms. Hiba, will you please go down so that we see in the screen the first? Yes, thank you. So this part, this passage is taken from the Sand Ghazal.
Yeah.
Miss Abir,
Yeah.
will you please read?
Okay. So sand gazelles are small mammals. They are very quick and have been known, and here is the space, reach speeds of.
Yeah, let's stop here
Yeah.
and let's help the student
Yeah.
before he fills in the space. What is the word after the space?
Reach.
Reach.
Yeah.
Is it a noun or a
It's
verb?
a verb.
It's a verb.
Yeah.
So
It's a
what
verb
is-
and infinitive verb.
Infinitive
Yeah.
verb. And here we can guess that the missing word is
Two.
to,
Yeah.
because reach is an infinitive, so the infinitive takes to reach speeds of almost.
Yeah.
Miss Huda, continue, please.
Yes. Reach speeds of almost 100 kilometers per hour. They are excellent jumpers and use their speed, plank, agility.
Good. Now, speed, space, agility. What are these words?
Nouns.
They are both nouns.
They are both
Yes.
So we need, as students, to find something to join
Join.
two nouns.
Join
Together.
them.
Here,
And
is accepted.
Yeah.
Yes.
What if the student writes or?
it's all.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
Okay,
yes.
What if the student writes in addition to?
In addition to.
Now, can they
More
write
than
for
one.
Accepted.
Yeah.
As well as.
As well as.
Yeah.
Yes.
Considered one word in addition
Uh-huh.
to.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
that is
it's
accepted.
okay. Yeah, it's
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It is accepted.
Besides.
But the best word
Yeah.
is
And.
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 Yeah.
is the best because here you use two nouns
To
and we connect between them using nouns. So the best answer is and, speed and agility. Miss Faizi, number 16, will you
Yeah,
read?
okay. It is the to evade attention of predators.
Attention of predators.
Okay.
So again here we have
So we have
noun, but
noun.
we don't have two nouns. to
Yeah,
No.
we are not
distinguish.
going to join these two nouns.
And attention is clear, I think,
Yeah.
because not any attention,
Yeah.
it's attention
Of
of
Yeah.
predators.
So
And
we
nouns
have to
usually
the-
are preceded by an article.
An article.
or
article that.
An
Yeah.
article.
So,
And since it's clear here that it is not any attention, we have attention of predators. The missing
attention.
word is
The.
that.
Now, let's just give a hint to the students about the use of the.
Yeah.
Who can tell us the usage of the? When does the student uses the not a or an? For example, when
Something is none in front of the names of countries, some countries.
some countries, not
See,
all the countries,
names
yes.
of rivers, for example, titles, okay,
Titles.
names of streets. Okay, when this noun is mentioned for the second time in a paragraph.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Okay.
let me just re-say it. At the beginning, we use the with nouns when there is only one.
Exactly. The sun, for example.
The sun is
Yeah,
the
the sun,
universe,
yeah.
the president in the
Yeah.
country,
Yeah.
the internet, because we don't have more
Yeah.
Then
many
The
internet.
door
Yes.
here in
Inside this hall,
Yeah.
we have one screen,
yeah.
or we have more than one screen.
One door.
One door,
Yeah.
yes. So
One
we
door.
say the door.
Yes,
The door,
Since
yeah.
we have more than one screen, we
So-
cannot say the
The
screen.
glass in front of you.
We have
We have many
many glasses,
The glass
but
in
maybe we have
front
just
of
one
you,
bottle.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
say, give me the
The
bottle.
bottle, yeah.
Yeah.
So as Ms. Faiza said, when we mention a
Before.
noun, when it is indefinite, but when we mention it a second time, it becomes definite.
Yes.
And when we add, as here, intention of predators,
Yes.
when we add something to a word to make it
Yes.
clearer. So when I say, I saw the boy, you will say which boy.
Yes.
But when I say, I saw the boy who was wearing glasses last time. So
Yeah.
the sentence who was wearing made the listener. So in brief, we can advise the student, if he is going to find the question, which one, after he puts the, so that is wrong. So when it's clear, and no need to ask which one, we can
don't
use
use.
that. Thank you. We move to the following question with Miss Ola.
Okay. Now here again
Now,
we have a text.
we need
but
to
this
give a
one,
hint now to the students that we bring this passage
scientific,
from the
part
supplementary.
of
Supplementary, yeah.
From the supplementary, literary for the literary section, and scientific for the scientific section.
Okay,
Yes, please.
with this one and the previous one, I advise students to read the whole text if they didn't know the exact words or they are not sure about it.
Mhm.
So they can read the whole text because it's related. So
Before, let's read the words
Okay.
and make sure that
That
as
they-
students
they
we
get
know
the-
their
they
meaning.
know
Yeah,
the
of course.
Yeah.
okay, so girls,
Mhm.
last, studying, tears, and sent.
Sent.
So we
Girls
have
is a noun.
one extra word.
Yes.
Girls.
We
is
have
a-
one extra word which is not going to be fit
Used.
in the spaces. We can think as students, girls is a noun, last is an adverb, studying is
Verb.
gerund, tears, noun, plural, and send
Verb.
is a verb.
Okay.
So we need now to put the verb in the place of a verb and the noun in the place of the noun, like this. Yes, continue,
And
please.
to
Ms. Ola.
understand the meaning. So after Mary's sister finished in
Space,
Paris.
in Paris.
So finished.
Finished something.
Finished.
Finished
We
something.
can choose as students, finished girls. No.
It doesn't make any sense.
No.
Finished class.
No.
No.
Finished,
so finished
studying.
We know
Yes.
that finished, started,
Is
and
followed.
Followed.
are followed by ing.
ing form, yes.
Gerund, so this is studying.
So finished
Finished
studying.
studying in Paris, and it goes with the meaning. So
Yes.
Yes.
after checking with the grammar, they
Thank
can
you,
understand the meaning
thank
of
you.
that
So the
sentence.
student can put all the words one by one until he finds the suitable. If he is not sure immediately about the word,
Yes.
if
Save
it
it.
is a smart student, immediately the student will know the answer. But we are giving advices to all levels
Yes.
of
course,
our
Of
students.
students.
Miss Abir,
Yeah.
continue. She.
So she could get work and marry the money. So here we have the money. This word gives us that here we should put send the money.
Send the money
Yeah.
because
And we have work
we have the whole
verb,
sentence. She
yeah.
could get work and
And.
marry the money to study.
Yeah.
So what?
So here we have to put a verb.
The verb.
Yeah.
And the verb is send.
Send.
Send Mary the money to study herself. Miss Faizi, will you please continue?
Okay. Now send Mary the money to study herself with the. This is another sentence. Okay. With in their eyes.
Yeah.
What will be there in their eyes?
How many words do we still have?
Okay, we have
We
only two words.
Tears.
Okay,
and
tears
we
and
have-
now we have eyes, Mr. Majid.
Yeah.
And
So,
it is clear
the
here,
word
okay?
eyes, yeah.
So we have with tears in their eyes.
Yes.
So it is tears.
Yeah, it is tears.
Yes.
In their eyes.
Yeah.
The
Girls.
part.
girls part.
The who parted.
Who
Yeah.
parted?
Okay,
parted,
we have the girls
girls.
parted.
So the girls.
So
Part.
in each paragraph we have hints.
Mhm.
If the student is good
Yes.
at English, he can know what is
Help
the
you.
correct.
Help you.
Yes.
To learn
And
to
as
know
we
the answer.
noticed that, Mr. Majid, the first two paragraphs and this one, these two questions are comprehension.
Yes.
And can I say something, Mr.
Yeah,
Majid?
please.
According
Feel free.
to language, and I tell my students, how can you acquire language, or how children acquire language? They first listen. Then they imitate. Okay,
Yes.
so it is very important to practice listening, then to practice repeating. Okay,
Yeah.
then after that, when the child goes to school, he can learn how to read and how to write. So we have, it is comprehension. Language is comprehension rather than grammar.
Yes.
I may make some mistakes. Okay, I may commit some mistakes, but you can understand
Yes.
what I'm
The
saying.
meaning will be
Okay,
clear. Yeah.
the meaning will be clear. Okay. So it is comprehension,
So
language.
you advise the students, not only for the baccalaureate students, all
from the
students,
beginning.
to study the language as a whole, not as grammar separately, to acquire the language like a little baby acquires the language.
And I hope that our students consider English in our schools language and not a subject.
Yes.
Okay. Doing this, they can get English language.
Yeah, because yes, you are absolutely right. When a student knows the language, he didn't just read about grammar and vocabulary. Immediately, without thinking, he will be able to find these questions. But now we are going to help all levels.
Of course.
The good ones
and the weak ones.
Thanks to Miss Faizi, she is advising the following generation so that when they reach this level, they will be able to answer immediately. But now we are going to help all levels.
Inshallah.
So here we have 24 marks allotted in the scientific. Of course, this is different with the literary, but we have just one extra word in the literary section. No problem. We are just explaining the way to solve this question. Question number 5, V. Ms. Ola, please.
Okay, now they need to complete the dialogue by writing suitable questions or answers. So here comes the making question. They need to make question and answer the question.
Yes, and here this question shows how the student is able to master the language.
Exactly.
And I think we need to help them in how to make questions, maybe in all tenses, while explaining this exercise. But we start with the first question. We have the answer. Ms. Faiza, please read the answer.
Okay, I've got my guitar from a local shop.
Now, first, what tense is it?
Okay. It is present perfect.
Present perfect. And we are going to ask about what?
This is what I'm going to say.
Yes.
Okay. I advise the student to look for the word he is going to ask about.
Yes.
Okay.
To start with.
To start with it. Okay. So he is going to
search.
he is going to determine what question word he is going to use.
Okay, so we have to mention that this is a statement.
Determine which one he is going to answer.
The second one, he is going to decide what tense is this sentence. Okay? By doing this, he is going to be able to use the auxiliary verb after the WH question word. Okay? After that, it becomes easy.
Yes.
Okay?
Just one point to mention. If it's a yes/no question or
this is another one.
Okay.
This is another one.
Actually,
this is a statement.
This exercise usually is WH question. Thank you very much for saying yes, Ms. Ola. The student needs to distinguish between yes/no questions and WH questions. Yes. Now, we have two things I think the student can ask in this sentence. We have a local shop
and we have a guitar.
My guitar.
My guitar.
Let's start with the local shop.
Okay.
Is it a place or a time or
Place.
a place?
Yes.
So first, let's go step by step with all levels of students.
Okay.
Let's first change the sentence into question. It is I have got. And in the present perfect, we form the question by inverting. Inverting the auxiliary with the subject. So it's going to be have you got your guitar from a local shop? The second step is we are going to ask about the local shop, so we delete it and we put instead where. And the sentence is going to be where have you got your guitar from? And from is essential. We just delete or omit the local shop. This is if we are going to ask about the local shop. What if the student is going to ask about the guitar?
Yeah.
What have you got from a local shop?
True.
Yeah, it's accepted.
Yes.
Since it is not specified, we don't have a line under what we want to ask about.
So
the student is free.
The choice.
But I want the students to put in mind that it's not one question. We have a dialogue.
Yes.
We have a dialogue.
They have to be careful.
The question needs to be followed up.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Faiza. I know that you want to talk about that. Yes, because the second answer tells us clearly about what we wanted to ask about. Now, the question is, where have you got your guitar from? The second
what have you got?
From a local shop. But if we read the second answer, we discover that it should be where have you got
it's correct.
Yeah, it's correct.
Yes,
it's correct.
And we may have a third answer if it's since we're considering the choices. If we want to ask about the subject, it's a weak question, but since it's, I believe it's
who is going to buy?
Who's got your
guitar? We can't say this. When we have a name or a noun, we can't say
that. Now,
when we have a pronoun,
we're discussing students' answers. So
yes. Now here we want to tell the students about just a quick idea about how the correcting center works. This depends. Either it will be accepted or not. But the exact question is absolutely accepted.
Yes.
So we are here to make the students keep on the safe side. If he made a mistake, later, maybe he will be judged fairly, maybe, we don't know. Maybe he thinks that he put something correct and he discovers that it was wrong. So we're here to help them to find the 100% correct answer.
Other answers are risky.
Risky. Thank you very much. So keep on the safe side and read the whole, as we mentioned, the whole dialogue, so that you can elicit as a student what you need to ask about. So where have you got your guitar from is the best question. Second sentence, Ms. Ola?
I have had it for 3 years. Here we have a length of time for 3 years. So the question word is going to be how long.
How long? And when we ask about duration of time, we use how long.
Okay, and again we have to pay attention to the structure of questions. Question word, auxiliary verb, and subject. Now we have the question word, which is how long. We can, for 3 years, leave it out. We can leave it out.
Because when we ask with how long, we need to leave out what we are asking.
Of course. Here we have an auxiliary verb. We don't need to add anything. So we just invert. So how long, and again we have to pay the students attention to the pronoun thing. So we have I, it should be turned to you. And earlier we have my, it's your. So how long have you had it? And of course
how long have you had it? It is correct question. What if, how long, yes, Ms. Faiza, please.
For how many years have you had it?
For how many years is acceptable? I was going to say, if the student wrote, how long have you had your guitar?
Okay.
It's okay. For how many years? So when the question is logical, is accepted. But the clearest question for this for this sentence is how long have you had it? Because the guitar is already known, but if the student writes the guitar or your guitar, it's okay. We move to the following sentence, which is about the money. Read it, Ms. Huda.
It costs 30,000 Syrian pounds. Really, here we have to be careful that the tense has changed. It's not present perfect. It's present simple.
Present. So, thank you. Thank you very much. And can you give a hint to the students about how to make a question?
Yes, it costs. It costs. So we are talking about the price. We use how much to ask about the price.
How much to ask about money.
The present, the helping verb does, because it. So how much does it cost?
So
And
we
we don't
use do and does to ask in the simple present tense. And since we're asking about money, we put how much.
How much?
Does, then the pronoun it and do we say costs or cost?
No, cost, of course.
Why?
Infinitive after does.
Because we use the infinitive after all auxiliaries.
Yeah.
So the question here is how much does it cost? Yes, because it is according to the question.
Yeah.
You may say, since he had it for 3 years, so the question should have been, how much did it cost? Yeah, it's okay, but the student needs to be strict and cope with the sentence.
Yes.
It is in the simple present, ask in the simple present and keep on the safe side.
Yeah.
Later, maybe if he wrote how much did it cost, maybe it will be accepted, but to keep on the safe side, the student needs to write how much does it cost because it's in the simple present. Now the final exercise is not a question, it is an answer. And again, I repeat, is one word in the answer enough?
No.
He needs to write a sentence. Miss Ola, we come back to you.
When do you play your guitar?
Yeah.
When do you play your guitar? In this way, we have to remember that we added when and do. So we can start after them. You, it turns to be I.
Yes.
I play my guitar. Okay, when it means we have to mention time. I can say I play my guitar on Tuesday in the evening, in the morning, at the weekend. So different answers.
So it's not enough to write in the evening.
No,
the student needs to write a sentence.
Again, the
Simple
risky
answer.
Yes,
It
it's
goes
risky.
back to risky.
I play my guitar in the evening, on Tuesdays, every
the
day.
weekend,
But he
on
needs
Friday,
to write a
so
regular.
Yes.
And any logical answer here is accepted related to time. Yeah.
Thank you. Now we come to something very important and very crucial, very essential.
Yes.
And we need to make this exercise very clear. Exercise number 6, we write the following sentences as required. Because we have a sentence and we have something about what the exam paper needs the student to do. We have wish, we have causative verbs, and we have
reported speech,
and we have passive voice. Just before we start, I want to tell the students that in 2015, the question was use a causative verb. But after that, and this year, they are going to see, like last year, not only any causative verb, it's going to be used the causative verb have. So the students need to write have, to use have, not any other causative verb like get or allow or let. So we tell the students they need to use have only have. Now,
The other one.
who wants to start with wish? I can't sing very well, and they say use wish. Miss Saizi, please.
Now, whenever we have wish, we are going to change the tense of the sentence into the past.
Yes, we use unreal past.
Yeah, unreal past. So I wish I could sing very well.
Now, if I add, thank you very much. Yes, you are absolutely right. Wish is usually opposite reality.
Yeah.
So the student needs to write something opposite the real sentence. The sentence is negative, so wish is going to be
positive.
And we go 1 tense back.
Yes.
If the sentence is in the present simple, we go to past simple. If the sentence in the past simple, we go to past perfect.
Yeah.
Now, we have many ways now, more than one way to use wish. Miss Ula.
Okay. We have the simple past. We can use the simple past. We can use the could and would. For would, we use would for criticism or annoyance, to express criticism or annoyance. We can use could for regret because you are unable to do something. Simple past, again, regret. So these are the way we can use any of them and follow the stages. So you have tense.
So if the student writes opposite the reality and he went one or she went 1 tense back, it's correct. to be on the safe side, we have auxiliary, which is can.
Yeah.
So the student can use what is written in the sentence, and the sentence can be, I wish I could sing very well. What if the student writes, I wish I could? It's enough.
I think it's okay.
It's full
Yes.
Full answer.
full meaning,
Yeah.
full
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
If the student writes just, I wish I
could.
could, it is correct.
It gives the meaning.
And
Yes.
if the student writes, I wish I sang very well,
Yeah.
Yes,
accepted,
change it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they just need to understand what they are wishing for.
yes.
They understand
So,
the sentence and wish for the opposite or the thing
The
that
opposite
you
of
don't
this
have.
statement in front of the student.
So
Yeah.
they need to understand first.
Yeah.
Sometimes they follow the rules, but the whole sentence is not the same. Not the same meaning. I
That
mean, the opposite
doesn't give sense,
express
maybe.
wishing. Yes.
mhm.
So this is what I meant by comprehension.
Exactly.
Language is comprehension.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we need to change into one step back and to write something opposite reality.
So
Here the reality is I can't,
I
negative.
can't, I wish
So
I
I
could.
wish I could. We went 1 tense back. I think it's clear.
Yeah.
And you, Ms. Ola, mentioned that we taught the students that we use with for
With
annoyance
or
or criticism, and we use could
for
for
expressing regret for the
regret.
inability.
Inability.
Yes. But if the student writes would or could or simple past,
It is
it's
okay.
But to keep on the safe side, the student needs to use
Follow
what
this,
is
yeah,
in
the
the,
verb.
which is can. Can is written, so I
Yeah.
wish I could.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is the easiest.
I wish I could
the best
sing
answer.
very well. It's good.
Yeah.
We move to the causative section. So now we have four questions,
Yeah.
but 4 crucial
Yeah.
issues
Very
to
important.
discuss,
Yes,
and we
exactly.
need to shed light on them
Yeah.
to concentrate.
Yeah.
Yes, Ms. Faizi, the
Okay.
causative.
Now,
read it.
she didn't repair the car herself.
Yes,
Okay.
she didn't repair the car herself.
Now we
which
notice
means-
that
Mhm,
this sentence is in the negative form,
mhm.
and the student is going to what? To change it into
Positive.
okay. And what do you think is the answer here? I think it is she had her car, or she had
The
the car repaired.
Repaired.
She had, because
She
it is in the
the
past.
past.
Okay, she didn't repair her car. It is in the past. So students must use she had the car repaired.
Yes,
But
and we need to tell them that here, when we use the positive, we don't need to go 1 tense back. It's
No.
only
no,
one.
no,
same
the
tense.
same.
Here the
The same
sentence,
but
past,
change the verb.
Yeah, we change the verb.
But
main verb.
I have another example.
Yeah.
So if I said she repaired her car,
Herself, yes.
herself, okay, herself.
It is the positive.
What is
Yeah.
the causative
Yes.
tense or
Thank
form?
you.
What is the
Thank you.
causative
Thank
form?
you so much.
Now she didn't have her car.
Change it into a negative.
We
Yes.
changed into the negative
So
form.
in both cases, we use have,
Okay, we must use have.
but
Okay.
we use the negative
Have
didn't
or
have.
didn't have.
So
Okay.
if the sentence is in the negative, we use positive.
Yeah.
If it is positive, we use the negative, and in both cases, we use have.
But we have to pay attention to the tense of the sentence. Okay.
Of course.
He is going to have his car repaired if we have future. Okay.
So if
So-
I may add something
Okay.
like they have to pay attention to 3 elements:
Mm.
have, the
Yeah.
object,
And
and the
something.
past participle.
Yes.
Yes.
So have has to go with the tense of the sentence.
Mhm.
They have to form
Yeah,
have
of
with
course.
the tense
Thank
of
you.
the sentence.
Thank you.
The object, and they have to pay attention to that. Sometimes the object is singular, so we add it, and
Mhm.
sometimes it's a plural, like trees, for example. They have it in their book.
Yes.
Trees, it's them
Them.
in this
Thank you.
situation.
Thank you,
Yes.
Michelle,
Okay,
for
and
this.
the verb of the main sentence, it tends to be past participle.
Mhm.
We
So
use
there
the
is
verb.
no change of the tense here.
No, the same tense,
causative.
but at this time
Yeah.
we apply the tense on have,
Yeah, of course.
and the verb of the sentence
It's verb 3.
Verb 3, yeah.
Verb 3.
All the tenses, the verb used with the causative is verb 3,
Verb
but we change have.
Exactly.
So if it is present or if it is future, like
Yeah.
Ms. Faye said,
Will have.
she is going to have
Or
her
is going to have.
Yeah.
her house repaired.
Or-
This is the causative because in the future, going to is followed with an infinitive.
Yeah.
So we say have. Yes,
Yes,
thank
of
you
course.
very much.
Mhm.
Anything else we can help the students with the causative? Just
I
with,
think this is it.
so remind them, not always the sentence is in the negative and we need to write the positive. The sentence may be in the positive and the student needs to use the negative of have.
Yes.
And here, if it is simple present, doesn't have, for example, you may say, he always repairs his car himself.
Yeah.
No.
The causative is
He doesn't have his
he doesn't have his
He
car.
never, we can use he never has.
He never has. Thank you very much. Yeah. This is causative. So he used have in the negative.
Yes.
We can use. Now, what if in that negative sentence usually we say he didn't repair his car himself? What if the student writes himself with the causative? Is it accepted?
No.
No.
So he will lose some marks.
Mixed up.
So when he uses the causative, he doesn't mention himself or has. Thank you so much. We move to reported speech. Ms. Abir, please.
Okay, here we have a question and we have a reporting question. Do you enjoy spending time with each other? Here he asked them. So in the past, so we are going to do is that we say he asked them if or
so
whether.
The introductory is he asked.
Yeah, he asked
and
them.
from the pronoun them, we know that you is plural in the question, not singular. Yes. So we are going to use a plural pronoun.
And because it is a yes or no question here, we have to use the whether or if.
Yes, we use whether or if with reported speech.
And here we have to change the verb or the tense. It is here present. We have to change it into the past.
So we go like with which when we report.
Step back.
Now, why do we go one tense back? Because the introductory is
past.
In the
past.
When the introductory and they don't have this, but so that just we give a hint.
Yes, because
if the introductory is he asks, we don't go back. We go back because in our book it is in the past. The introductory isn't. He said or he asked. So when it is he asked, we go one tense back with the reported speech.
And
so he asked them.
He asked them.
What do we do with do, does, and did when reporting?
We omit them.
We leave
them.
So do, does, and did are left.
Because it's not a question anymore. It's
a
question.
Of course. And even the others is not a question, but we don't leave can or could or may or might, the other auxiliaries. Is, are auxiliaries, but we don't leave them. We only leave do, does, did when we report. So we leave do. Can you, Ms. Hadir, continue?
He asked them whether or if they enjoyed.
They enjoyed. Because do you enjoy is simple present. The past
is enjoyed. Enjoyed spending time with each other.
Thank you so much. Now, if we give more information about reporting, what can the student do when he reports? First, you said we go one tense back.
Yes.
And the pronoun changes. What else do we change?
We have for some nouns or some phrases, for example,
tomorrow
the adverbs of time. Tomorrow, then the following day, the following day, or the next day,
yesterday becomes
the day before, this and that.
This, that,
So everything near becomes far. This becomes that. This book, that book. Now, then. Yes. So I repeat, and I hope you help me. We change the pronoun from I to he or she or they. We change the pronoun. And if we have possessive pronoun, my, your, we change it as well. And we change the adverb of time. Now becomes
past, a step further, a step back. The tenses.
Yes.
And if we have a question word, we leave it in. We don't change it.
We don't change the question word.
And we delete
and when we report using the introductory, he asked. Do we put question mark?
No. This is a
step.
It's not a question
anymore.
Not a question.
It's indirect question.
So when we report a question, we don't put a question mark, and we put here it is do, we left it. If it is, for example, can. If the question, it says, can you swim? He asked
If
Tom
he
if he could swim.
Yeah.
So could becomes after the subject, like in a sentence.
Yes.
Not yes, that main verb. So he could.
Yeah.
We go one tense back. He could swim, and we put full stop, not a question mark.
Yeah.
Let's move to the following
Now, please, can we
exercise.
say
Yes.
something before we move?
Yes, please.
Students have to put in mind that they might be asked three types of questions in this one. They might be asked to write the actual words. They might be asked to write a reported sentence or reported question. So it might go these three ways,
Yes.
just like that.
Actually, the actual sentence usually is put between two inverted commas, and we don't change it when we have two inverted commas.
Yeah.
But when we report, we leave. And this is a hint to the students. Here in the question, we have he asked them, we have two inverted commas. Sometimes, if we have two inverted commas in the real question, we leave them because in the reported speech, we don't have quotation marks. Yeah. Anything else before we move? Let's move then.
Okay.
Syria has made a lot of efforts to save endangered animals. Before we do this exercise, we're going to discuss the passive voice.
voice. Okay.
When do we usually use the passive? When the subject...
When we the subject is not known,
No.
or we
Not
are
known.
not so interested to
Unimportant.
know.
Not important.
who is
Not
the
important.
subject.
Yes.
The action is more important than
focus-
The
the
focus
is
is
on the
On the
object.
action.
on the object, not on the subject.
subject.
Yes. So what do we do if we help the student at the beginning? What do we do with the
Deleting
object?
Object, subject, verb, object. We
bring
put the object
At
and
the
we put it-
beginning.
At the
Exactly.
So the
yeah.
object becomes the subject
subject.
of the
Subject,
passive
yeah.
voice.
Yes.
And what do we do with the verb in all tenses?
Now we begin with the object as if we are moving backward. Okay, we bring the object. We are out of petrol, as if we are in a car. Okay, we need this petrol. Okay, so this petrol is a verb to be.
Yes.
Okay, we supply our car with the verb to be. Then we move backward to the main verb and we put it in the verb three.
Verb three, all the
Yes.
time, all
So we
tenses.
have object, verb to be, then verb three.
Thank you. So the object doesn't change. The same object, we
Yeah.
bring it to the beginning.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the verb
Yeah.
goes to verb 3 with all
All
tenses.
All tenses.
All tenses.
So the
Yes.
student's job is with verb 2.
Verb to be, yeah.
Verb to be.
Yeah.
kind of
But,
similar to causative verbs. In
Yes.
a way,
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah.
But in the causative, we still have the subject at the beginning.
exactly.
In the
Yes.
passive voice, we have
But
the...
I'm
The
talking
object.
about the
We
verb
have
to
some
be and verb
changes.
to have.
Yeah.
Thank
Past
you.
participle.
The students should know the kind of this passive present or
Tense,
past,
it means
so
tense.
they
Okay.
choose the right.
Yes. So at the beginning, he looks at the sentence.
Yeah.
If the sentence is in the simple present tense,
Yeah.
what do we use? What verb to be do we
Is
use?
am.
Yeah.
Is
Are according
verb
to the object
Object, yeah.
that
Not the
new,
subject.
become-
the
Not
new
the
subject.
They
We call
should
it the
be
new
aware.
subject.
Yeah, but we care now to be specific. The object now is at the beginning, so the verb to be goes with what
With
is at the
object,
beginning.
Yes.
Exactly.
So
And
if
the
it's
object is
singular or
the-
plural.
So if it is singular, it is.
Is.
Exactly.
If it is I, am. If it is plural,
Are.
are.
Yeah.
Let's give an example. For example, he plays football.
Yeah.
He is the subject and
Yes.
football is the object.
Yes.
What do we do when
Football
we do?
is played.
Football.
Football
Is
played.
played.
Yes.
First,
Exactly.
football
Football
played. Then
And
in the middle,
Yeah.
we put
Verb is.
verb is. Verb to be is.
We can give an example to show that the verb is going to change according to the object. For example, she has written three essays. Now she has, this is singular, 3 essays have.
Have.
Okay.
Have
Yeah,
been.
thank you very
So-
much. And
Yes.
I'm going, since it's lunchtime, let's
Yeah.
give a sentence about food. If it is, he eats an apple.
Exactly.
An apple is
Eaten.
Eaten.
If the sentence is he eats apples,
Yeah.
apples
Are
eaten.
Yeah.
And let's
Yeah.
move
Some
with the
students make
apple
this mistake.
with the other tenses. Let's go to the past simple.
Yeah.
He ate
Was
an
eaten.
apple.
An apple. Where
Was
eaten.
Where
Was
eaten.
where
If it is apples,
Where?
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 If it is an
One
apple,
apple was.
So just we change is in the simple present to was
in
in
the
the
past.
simple past. Now, the continuous tenses. The continuous tenses,
We
present
have-
continuous and past continuous.
Yes.
We are,
For example, they are playing football. Football
Football
is being played.
so we use
okay?
being.
Being.
Yeah,
We
of
use
course.
being after verb to be.
Yeah.
After
The
the
word being,
Yes.
if it is present continuous, is being played.
Past
Yeah.
continuous was being.
Was
Yeah.
being.
Or were being.
He
Was.
is eating an apple. An apple
apple
is
is
being
eaten.
eaten.
Verb three.
Yeah.
Yes.
So past continuous, he was eating
Yeah.
an apple.
An
An
apple
apple
was
was
being
being
eaten
eaten.
by
If
him.
it is plural, he was eating apples.
Apples were
Were
being
eaten.
Eaten.
Good.
Yeah.
Let's come now to
To
the
the perfect.
our
present
sentence.
perfect.
Yes.
We use with the
Been.
present perfect
Yeah.
and past perfect
Been.
Been.
after
Yes.
verb
Three.
to have.
To have.
After verb to have.
To have, yes.
So he has eaten apples. Apples plural.
Have been
Have.
eaten.
Have been
Eaten.
eaten. Syria has made a lot of efforts. It is present perfect.
Okay,
But before we do
to-
it, let's
to finish-
continue.
Okay,
Yeah.
to finish one last point about the agent. If it is important and we
Thank
need
you
to
very
mention it,
much.
we need to use
Yes.
by.
Yeah.
So if the agent is definite,
Yes.
is known,
Important.
proper noun, or something we know, we need to put it at the end of the sentence
by using
preceded
After by. Yeah.
by. Preceded with by. What tenses do we still have to continue? Present perfect,
Past
present
perfect.
perfect. Now, the perfect continuous tenses don't have
passive.
voice
Passive.
because they have been
Yeah.
already, so we don't have passive. The future and all the auxiliary verbs we use,
And model verbs, because
Model
by the
verbs.
end of the
Model
book we
verbs.
have model verbs
Yeah.
and the
we use
passive.
be.
Be.
Infinitive
Yes.
or base form.
So he will eat apples. Apples
Will
will
be
be
eaten.
eaten.
Or
can
He
be
can eat
Yeah.
apples.
Can
Apples
be
can
eaten.
be
Eaten.
eaten. He may eat apples.
Yeah.
Apples may be eaten.
Yeah, thank you so much. Let's do now the exercise for.
Now it looks so easy.
20.
Yeah, now it's easy.
Yeah, 28.
Yeah.
Down.
Miss
Yeah,
Hiba,
20.
please go back down. Miss Hiba, down. Yes,
The
yes.
last one.
Again.
More.
Yes.
More.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Now, Syria has made a lot of efforts. What is the object here?
A lot of efforts.
Now, here we have kind of confusing. We have a lot of efforts and we have to save endangered animals. But the object is a lot of efforts. So we're going to start the sentence with
A lot of
a lot
efforts.
of efforts.
And
because- Efforts.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
A lot of efforts
have
have
Yeah.
been made.
made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By
To
Syria.
save
By Syria
endangered
to save.
animals,
Yes.
and the position of by Syria is
By the
At the end.
at the end
Of the sentence.
So we repeat, a lot of efforts
Have.
not has.
Have.
In the sentence we have has.
Yes,
because
but
Syria is
because the
singular.
new subject has changed. So a lot of efforts have been made to save endangered animals by Syria.
By Syria.
Yes, thank you so much.
Here we have to look at the object. It's more than one word. This may confuse the students. They may choose one word a lot, maybe.
Yes,
Yeah.
if we teach them
Yeah.
about apples only,
Yeah.
here it is a phrase,
it's
not
a
one
phrase,
word.
not a
Yeah,
word.
it's a bit confusing. But in the end, the student needs to divide the sentence. What is
Yes.
the subject?
And
What is the verb?
object?
And what is
Yeah.
the
They
object?
might say only efforts. I think it's okay.
Yeah, efforts.
Yeah, it gives the meaning.
If the
Yes.
student writes efforts
Yeah.
have been made
Made
to
to
save,
save,
yeah, it's okay
Yeah.
because a lot is a modifier to efforts.
Yes.
Yeah, but the object is, as
A lot
Mr.
of
says,
efforts.
efforts. So the real object is efforts, and a lot of is the amount of effort. Yes, thank you so much. Miss Hiba, now, can you please, Miss Hiba, go to the top of the exam paper? Here we reach the completion. And here, the student needs to look carefully at the tense,
Yes.
and
Pay
he needs
attention.
to write a sentence, not just one word.
Close. Yeah.
subject
Close.
and the verb.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we say sentence, so that I make it clearer, the sentence and the clause are the same, but
Yeah.
the sentence has full meaning, while the clause
is
doesn't have full.
dependent. Is
Yeah,
dependent
needs
on the
something
other one.
to be
Yeah.
full. If I were a doctor is a conditional.
Conditional, second conditional.
Is it type 1 or 2 or 3? Type 2.
Two, yeah.
How do we know? From
Where?
where.
Simple past.
So if I were, we use if with
The answer should be
Would.
would or could.
yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
good, yeah.
And here, let's give a hint about this. According to if,
Yeah.
we can determine if it is type 1 or type 2
Two
or type
or
3.
three.
Type 1, it is going to be simple present with if.
If, yeah.
If I am
Yes.
here,
Then
will. So type 1, we continue with will.
Yeah.
Type 2, after if we have simple past.
Yes.
Maybe
then-
it's not the verb to be. Maybe
Yeah.
it's a verb.
Yes.
If I
Yes.
sang,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would.
It's the same
would.
So
thing.
not necessarily
Yes.
verb to be,
Verb to be.
it is simple past. So if we have simple past with if, we continue
complete
with
with
would.
Would or could.
Thank you. If it is past perfect,
Past
Would
perfect
have.
would have verb 3.
would
have done.
verb.
Verb 3.
So
Third
this is
conditional.
type 2, and the students can continue it in any way but using would.
Yeah, and meaningful way.
Yeah, meaningful way,
way.
yes.
Sure.
So, who can give us a sentence, Ms.
Yes.
Huda?
If I were a doctor, I would help the poor people.
I would help
Sick
the
people.
poor.
Or, yeah,
I would be happy.
I would be happy.
I would be
Sick
proud. Yeah.
I would be
Since
tired.
it is I, so the continuity starts with I.
Yes.
Yeah.
And usually we have a comma in between
Yes.
the
When
two
we start
halves
with
when
After
we
the if
start
part.
with if.
After the if part.
Yes, thank you. Number 30 in the scientific exam paper.
Omar's letter was difficult to read because.
Yes.
Okay,
So
again, we
because
have simple
is
past.
followed
Yeah.
with a subject and a verb,
Verb, yeah.
clause. So there is a problem. We can complete it as students in many ways.
But not
Yes.
present. It's not allowed to
Uh-huh.
be in present.
Thank you so
Neither
much.
Yeah.
future.
Now, I'm not going to say absolutely because someone may say his writing is always bad, even now. But in the exam, we need the student to keep on the safe side.
Side, yeah.
Exactly.
When the sentence is in the past, complete it in
So
the past
don't
tense.
mix
Yeah, don't mix.
sentences.
Because mixing comes
Yeah.
on higher levels,
Yeah.
and the baccalaureate level, we are 2B in the reference for the European framework reference. So for the student to keep on the safe side, when it is past, complete with past tenses. Omar's letter was difficult to read because
His handwriting was bad.
bad,
he
or
wrote,
he wrote it
or he had
with-
written
or
very
he had
quickly,
written
it
it
very quickly.
very quickly.
Yeah.
And here I just want to give a hint. Sometimes students feel confused. Should I continue with the past perfect or the past simple? Both are accepted.
But I feel past perfect is safer for them because past simple is tricky at some
Yeah,
point.
actually, both the past simple and the past perfect are simple past.
Yeah.
Both are
Yes.
simple
Yeah.
past. But to distinguish which happened first,
Exactly.
we put the
Past perfect and simple past.
But if the student writes two past simple, it's okay. But as you said, when we have two actions to
One
show,
happened.
to keep on the safe side,
Exactly.
use the past perfect,
Perfect.
with the action that happened
When we have simple
first
past.
and simple past with that happened later. So we said his handwriting was bad. He wrote it quickly. He didn't know what to write. Maybe he was sad. But we need subject and verb.
Yeah.
He had a
Can
broken
they write
hand.
He
because
had
of-
spilled milk on
Because of is followed with
Yeah.
a noun.
Enough.
Yeah.
But it's not enough.
Yeah.
Because of the weather. Yeah.
He's going to use clause.
He needs to write, thank you for arousing this point,
Yeah.
because it is important for the students to write a sentence,
Sentence,
in the
yeah.
completion.
With a
Thank you.
subject and a verb.
Yes. We move to exercise number 8.
Here we are going to choose the correct words in brackets.
Here it is about tenses.
Yeah.
tenses.
No,
No,
not
yet.
tenses.
Sorry,
No,
not
no,
tenses.
tenses.
Tenses is the following
Yeah.
one.
Yes.
Parts
Tense is
of
the following.
speech, maybe.
Yes. Thank
Here
you.
as well, it is comprehension.
Comprehension.
Comprehension, yeah.
If the student knows the meaning
Yeah.
and how to use the vocabulary, he
he
knows
can do
which
it.
word
He
to
can
use.
do it well. Yeah.
We have kind of color idioms, we have parts of speech, we have possibilities, relations.
And all these are
Nouns, adjectives,
in
derivations,
the mind
etc.
of
Yeah.
the student
Yeah.
because he took him
In
during
the
the academic year.
Okay.
The first one,
So many people recycle their rubbish because, or in order not to, set up the world's resources.
use up the world's resources. So if we try because at the beginning,
We need a
We
subject.
have a subject and a
So
verb.
it's
There is
not
no
okay.
subject, no
And
verb.
here it's a verb.
There is a verb,
so
yeah.
it's in order to.
In order not to.
In order not
use
to.
up,
So the
yeah.
first one is in order not to.
Means to avoid.
Miss
Yeah.
Huda,
yes, I
number
have just
30.
heard the door bang or splash. Bang, of course, because
Yeah,
it's
because
the sound
we have
of
an
the door.
exercise.
Yeah.
We have an exercise in the book about bang, splash, and
Yes.
these
Splash
different.
is the sound of the water.
Yes,
Bang
splash
for
is
the
the
door.
sound of
Yeah.
water, and bang is the sound of a door,
door.
and a pistol. We don't have
Yeah,
pistols,
pistol.
thank God. We move to the
33.
noun and
33.
the adjective.
Adjective.
Miss Abir, please read.
It
number
has
50.
been a disaster or disastrous year for the industry.
Tea industry.
Tea industry, sorry. So here we have, after brackets, here we have year.
Yes, and here is a noun.
Yeah,
So we
preceded
need
by
an
an
adjective.
An
Adjective.
adjective.
Yeah. Disastrous.
Disastrous. So we don't need the students to follow what some students told me that they always choose the longer one.
Yeah.
It's not correct to choose the longer
course,
one.
Of course.
Maybe it happened by chance many times,
Yeah.
but not
Not all
necessarily.
the time.
Things happen.
Because what if we said it has been a disaster, and we stopped? We didn't
Yes.
put here. We should say
Disaster.
disastrous without a, of course.
Yeah.
It has
Without a.
been
A disaster.
disastrous.
Disastrous.
Because when we have a,
Yes.
Yeah.
we
So
need to
the
use
noun.
the
Noun.
noun.
Yeah.
Yes.
And here we have a because we have the noun
Noun
year.
year.
Yeah.
Year.
And the word disaster is a noun, does not go with year,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
another noun. We need an adjective. That's why we chose disastrous, not because it's longer, because we need an adjective. And year
This
is
is
a
a
noun.
disastrous answer.
Yes, yes. This is, but I really heard some people say that teachers sometimes, we have a bit of problem with very few teachers. Instead of teaching the language, they teach how to solve the puzzle of grammar. So they go to the exam papers and they notice that every time they
You
came,
see this,
but this was happening by chance, not on
at random.
purpose. That the word needed was an adjective, and the adjective is longer. So he or she tells the student choose
Did
the
it
longer
right.
one. This is wrong, of course. We need to teach the students that we use
Grammar.
an adjective to modify a noun,
noun.
and disastrous is the noun. Thank you. Miss Hiba, are you with us? Can you go up a little? Thank you. 18 marks for the scientific section is allotted for the exercise. Now we come to number 9. Exercise
Tenses.
number 9. Correct the verb. This is about tenses.
tenses.
Yeah.
This
Tenses.
is about tenses. So the students,
One of the tricky questions in the exam.
yes, needs to know about.
Is it tricky?
No, for the students, I mean.
I think
some students.
there are indicators in
course.
every sentence. Okay, there is an indicator
They show
which
in-
sentence the student is going to use.
Exactly.
Okay.
And they
For
need to
example,
follow
number
that.
34, the original Mont Blanc tunnel, be completed in 1965. It is clear,
So
obvious.
1965 is
Yeah, it is
past.
in the
So,
past.
yes.
This is number 1. Now we have the verb completed.
Yes.
Okay.
Completed is
Can-
past again. So-
No, it is. I'm not talking about the past. Okay.
Yeah.
How is the student going to
Yeah, yeah.
correct the
about
verb
it.
be? Okay. Did Mont Blanc tunnel complete itself?
No, of
No.
course.
So this is the object. This is the object. So here we have
Passive voice.
passive voice.
Yes. So
It is
passive
in the
voice.
past.
In the
Because
past,
we have
yes.
the year 1965.
And they don't even need to explain all this. It's
No,
fast.
but I'm
This is
exactly.
for,
I know,
for
get
the
it.
better students, but we are talking about A
Yeah.
levels, as Ms. Say,
So-
as you said, yes. So it's passive voice in the past simple because we have the time reference 1965. So
what is the past tense of be? It is was or were.
were.
It is singular or plural. The object is going to decide.
Yes.
Since it's Mont Blanc
Yeah.
tunnel, it's a
Yeah.
tunnel, singular,
Yeah.
so it is
Was.
was.
Yeah.
So the word is
Was. The correct
completed
answer.
in 19, and completed is verb 3.
Yeah.
We move to Sami write an essay all
Yeah.
morning.
All morning.
Yes.
What do we understand from the all plus time?
And we can continue the word and understand a step further.
Very
That's
tired.
why he is very tired.
We have the
now.
result.
Thank
Yes.
you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
So as Ms. Faizi and thanks to Ms. Ola, the student needs to check the keywords.
To the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
The context is very important,
Important.
but besides to the context, we need as students to look at the keywords that tell us about what we are going to do. So we have all plus time,
Yeah.
it means
And
long,
Yeah.
and we have the word now.
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 And
So if
now,
we have a result.
and
now
we have
a
result.
let me clarify something.
Yeah.
We are not going to say that now is always with the present continuous. No.
No.
Now can come with other tenses, but we have now and we have all morning. And we have an essay is being done from the morning,
Links of time.
and now we have tired. Tired means a result
A result from
Or
something happened
work
for
of
them.
past activity.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we have a result of past activity, and this
We
is
have-
what we are going to explain after
Yeah.
we finish.
Present.
We have 2 sessions. We need to remind the students we have this session, and we have another session on the 18th of May to complete. It's the same exam session. We're going to explain about grammar and vocabs that they may need. So we're here to help them. But for now, we're going just to explain this exercise, which is
Correcting
written
the
the
verb.
essay from the morning, and now he is tired. So the result now is tired. What
After
is
a
the
links
tense?
of time.
Present. Perfect continuous.
Sam
Present
has
continuous.
been writing.
Have or has been.
Yeah.
Verb
Writing
ing.
an
Have.
essay
Yeah.
all morning, and the result is
Has
that's
been
why.
because Sammy hates it.
All
Has.
morning indicates
Thank
a links of time, so
Thank
it's
you. Thank you
continuous.
so much. Number 36. My uncle finally passed his driving test. He, the verb take, the test 3 times already. What are the hints here?
Already.
Already was
Yeah.
one,
Times.
And we
which
have
is perfect.
past.
Yes.
And we
3
have
times.
past.
It's
Past.
Yeah.
So we have the past,
It is
and we
in the
have the
past.
word already,
Already.
and we say that we use already with the present
Present
perfect
perfect.
and the past
Past
perfect.
perfect
Past
as well.
perfect. Yes.
And since here it is past,
Yeah.
So
so
He
have
had
times, so it's
taken.
Yeah.
Had
when
verb
we
3.
mention something many times, it is until now with the present
Simple.
simple if it's in the present. If it is in the past, like in the sentence,
Past perfect.
Past perfect.
so the answer is
Had
taken.
had
taken.
taken the
Had
test
taken the test.
3
times.
times. Now, for the translation, we need to tell the students that we have 2 parts,
Yeah.
English to Arabic
Arabic to
and
English.
Arabic to English. The English into Arabic usually comes from the
Scientific
supplementary,
Supplementary.
either scientific or
Or
literary.
literary.
Since this exam paper is scientific, it is from the scientific supplementary. It is about Nobel. About Nobel. And here it depends about the knowledge of the students about grammar and vocabulary.
Vocabulary. Yeah.
Now, we
Structure
need
of
to
the
tell the student about how he is going to be judged. He's going to be judged in...
Each sentence is
Yeah, we divide the
Divided.
sentence
Divide into
into
2 parts.
clauses, maybe 2 clauses, maybe
Maybe
3
4.
clauses.
Yeah.
3 clauses. So we divide the sentence into clauses, then we translate every clause, but in the end, it should be logical.
Yeah.
Rephrase it.
It needs to give sense. Nobel was fluent.
Fluent.
Maybe fluent is a bit not clear for the student. Can speak fluently. He can speak fluently. So it can be translated many times. We're going to give some translations. Not because, now some
Not the only
may tell us that why did you have your webinar in English since not all students can understand you. This is wrong because not all students cannot understand us, and we are giving the way to all teachers, all colleagues, that teaching English is going to be in English, not in Arabic. And this exercise is going to be abolished in the future, so that no one says we have translation, so why we shouldn't speak Arabic. But for the time being, we're going to translate it into Arabic because they are going to have it in the exam. Miss Faizi,
now
please.
we can divide this sentence into two parts, beginning from Nobel was fluent in five languages. This is part number one, and had a great interest in literature, and this is part number two. Okay, now let us start with the first part. Okay,
5 marks for each.
Yeah, it is allotted 10 marks. 5 marks for
Usually when
each.
it is two parts, every part takes 5.
5 marks.
Sometimes it is 3 parts.
But if it is a long sentence, it is 3 parts.
So we divide,
okay, we divide
according to the length and difficulty.
So we can translate Nobel كان بارعا.
Do we start in the Arabic?
No. This is no. We can't. We want to start. We want to state. كان نوبل بارعا. كان نوبل جيدا جدا ممكن. كان طليقا. What other words? Fluent. What about fluent? I'm talking about fluent.
جيد
يتحدث بطلاقة.
ماهر. It is not accepted. ماهر. يتحدث بطلاقة.
So sometimes we have to change verb to noun into verb. It depends on the meaning of the sentence.
So the students needs to give sense.
Maybe
not exactly, but if he gives the meaning, he takes the full mark.
To show that they understand this.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
If our student answer a novel was or use a verb here. Novel can talk 5 languages. Is it right?
No, he has to translate into
Arabic.
كان
يتحدث. Verb, but here not verb.
But in translation it's acceptable.
You mean
تكلم.
it's okay.
You mean تكلم
In translation it's accepted.
Now, in the translation, we need the meaning. If the student gives the meaning in any way, using an adjective or if he changes the whole sentence but still gives sense, we have in the translation an item in the correcting center. It says any logical sentence is accepted. If he gives كان يتحدث بطلاقة.
كان يتحدث. It means in the past. This is what I want. Not in the present. يتكلم.
Different. If he uses a verb.
There are different structures between Arabic and English, so we have to change at some points.
But what I was going to ask, if the student writes Nobel كان or كان Nobel,
it is okay.
But in Arabic,
I think we start with كان.
With the verb.
Start with the verb.
Yes. So 5 languages comes to lot. Great interest.
اهتماما عظيما.
كبيرا.
بالأدب.
Can we say it?
Yeah, you can.
Something big.
Something big in literature.
بالأدب.
أدب or adab. Now, the second part of translation is usually from the student's book or activity book, not from the supplementary. Who can read the sentence in Arabic?
Yeah, I can. ينصح الأطباء بالتمرين المنتظم والطعام الصحي لأنهما مهمان جدا لبناء جسم قوي.
How many parts do you have?
3 parts.
3 parts. Yes, 3 parts.
Now, first
we have
word.
to start with the subject.
Can you give us now the equivalents, the synonyms of the word ينصح in English?
I know advise. Recommend.
Recommend. Suggest.
Yes.
So if the student writes, so now even أطباء we have physicians.
Yes,
doctors.
But I believe physicians is not very common between students.
Whatever they write, it will be accepted. But
of course not dentist.
Yeah, of course. Dentist is for the teeth, not for the...
If he says, doctors says that.
Doctors say it's okay. He will not take 0. Yeah, it's a weaker point than to suggest or advise. It's better to write. But if he didn't, even if the student didn't know the meaning of the word, and he missed the word, he didn't write the word, he's not going to take 0. He will take marks for what he has written or what he wrote in the exam. Yeah, so the marks are going to be divided to 3 parts in the second half. If he just put space, then he put suggest or recommend. He didn't know what is the word atba in English.
Yes.
He will take the marks for suggest.
Yes.
He's not going to take 0. Yes. So if he writes a wrong word or if he misses the word, it's okay.
It's okay.
No problem. He will not be considered to be just 0 point. He's going to take marks. So for Yansah al-Atba, it is either doctors or physicians suggest, recommend, advise. Now, advise what?
Regular
exercise.
Regular.
Training. Can we say training?
Yes, thank you very much. Now, when we say missing words are overlooked, but we still need to have sense.
Yes.
Yes.
If he just writes recommend and missed everything, it's not.
There is nothing here.
Nothing here. So we need to give sense in the end. When we read, we need to understand the sentence, but we have a word missing, and the missing words can be tamreen, al-muntazam. If he knows exercise and he didn't know the word regular,
It is okay. Yeah, it is okay.
he will not be judged as 0. Of course, he will take some marks. And what is the
training is okay.
Training.
Yeah.
Training, exercise.
Yeah.
It's okay. Regular training, regular exercise. All these words are accepted.
Yeah.
And
Healthy food.
Healthy food.
Well, they are very important.
Here we have because.
Yes.
Because
Now,
they
is
are.
because the only word?
As.
Since. As.
Since,
If the student writes as they are.
Yes.
Since they are. Because they are. Very important to build
a strong
body.
Or healthy body.
Healthy body.
Or a
Strong body.
Yeah.
So if the students,
Builds up.
but as Mr. Ahmed is telling us, thank you very much for your participation.
Builds up. It's okay.
To build up the
body
strongly, to build up the
Strongly.
body. So
Strongly.
any logical answer is accepted, but the best in this exercise is
Very important.
doctors recommend regular exercise and healthy food because they are very important to build a strong body.
Yeah.
Yes. Then, any addition would you like to add for this?
Enough.
And I comfort in the future, no more we will have translation. Because the translation is another field
Yes.
they may find
It's
at
an art,
university.
actually. So,
Yes, so here in the baccalaureate level and down, we're going to concentrate on the language acquisition, on listening, speaking, because it's not only the grammar and vocabulary.
Exactly.
We have listening, we have writing. Now we reached the writing. Now this is the problem.
This is the problem.
What time is it? Yes. Thank you for reminding us. We feel a bit tired. We're going to go for a break, dear students, and after the break, we're going to continue with composition.